Friends, welcome to our channel Education with Sri Vidya. In this video, we are going to discuss about barriers and facilitators of communication. What is a barrier of communication? It's nothing but effective exchange of ideas or the thoughts is known as a barrier of communication. So mainly we have totally 5 barriers of communication. The first one is physical barriers, the second one is language barriers, a third one is psychological barriers, the fourth one is background barriers, and the fifth one is organizational barriers. So let us discuss in detail with these 5 barriers. So the first one is physical barriers. So in this mainly the environment and the noise disturbs. So how the environment disturbs the communication? So mainly this may be due to the atmosphere or due to the temperature. So how due to the atmosphere? If the atmosphere is chill, it's winter season, so we cannot go anywhere and we cannot communicate properly. If it is a rainy season, we have other sort of problems. So it mainly depends upon the atmosphere and the temperature conditions. And the second one is the noise. So it disturbs a lot, so it which is results in the lack of clarity. So this noise is of various types. So it may be in the form of written noise, that means if anyone is speaking, that means the sender is speaking and the receiver is listening. So in between both of them, so if someone writes in a piece of paper, so then it affects the receiver and the receiver will peep into that piece of paper and it disrupts the other person. Then the visual, so the time lag. So visually, so the time lag, mainly time, sender is speaking and the receiver is receiving through a video call. So for example, through a video call, and the time lag, mainly the time lag in between them will make a noise. And through in the cinema halls, in the construction sites, and loudspeakers are used. So much more physical noises which disrupts. And the mistakes in the grammar, mistakes in the grammar, so unclear and badly stated directions. So direction, suppose in the direction, so it shows like this to go, but the direction is this side. So then the unclear directions will make the receiver to misguide to go this in this way. So there are many physical barriers which affects the communication. And the second one is the language barriers. So the language is nothing but the vehicle of communication. So this may be in the form of a teacher. So a teacher is teaching the uninterrupted speech, uninterrupted speech by the teacher. When the teacher is teaching with a high pitch voice, and the child is unable to understand the communication of the teacher, then this language barrier exists. Okay, when the teacher have only bookish knowledge, when the teacher is making a high loud sound, when then the communication is the meaningless. and then the language inadequacy, then the communication the teacher is sending will not be a proficient. That means she is sending the messages in an unclear voice. I mean, sometimes sender and receiver does not comprehend each other's language. So I mean, sender is sending in a proper language and the receiver may not accept it properly. So then unclear graphics and symbols also. Then the graphics and symbols. So when the teacher is drawing on the board the symbols and the receiver may not receive properly, that is lacking in understanding, and this is nothing but language barriers which exist mostly in the classrooms. And next, the fourth one is psychological barriers. So psychological barriers are nothing but emotional barriers. So emotional barriers leads to redundancy, that means feeling anxiety. So feeling anxiety, so jealousy on one another, that means negative attitude on one another, disinterest, when the child is not doesn't want to do anything. So unfulfilled curiosity. So these are all depends on the psychology of the child. So this leads to psychological barriers. So next comes with the background barriers. So where the student's background is, I mean where he is lagging to understand with the present scenarios. So if the with the present teaching methodology, why the child is lagging behind, what is his background. Fifth one comes under organization. So organization like means the group of people in a company where following all the rules and regulations it works. So it's a hierarchy which is the relation between the boss and the subordinates. So which suffers with a lot of feelings, and the organizational barriers comes with the lack of cooperation among the staff, and which affects the communication, and comes with the choice of media. So how the media affects the communication, whether it is right or wrong, and the number of students in the class has affect the communication. So if you like this video, please do like, share and subscribe our channel.